Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to BJ and Bill, the podcast, a part of the Podcast Playground Network. Please give us that 5-star review. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, your preferred podcast platform, and follow us on Facebook, BJ and Bill, the podcast. And as always, email us, bjandbillthepodcast@gmail.com. As we welcome you, episode number 140, my friends.
Crazy 140. Welcome aboard, which was nice. Woke up this morning to a text message that our little monthly gift from the boss arrived. So he sends a little token of his love every month, and we love him for that. We do. So
I wasn't even expecting it this morning, and I because I've done something. I'm not going to say where, because I don't want people trying to hack me and taking my money. But there is a particular credit card that has a particular bank that sent me some information that their savings account is paying like 3.75% interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, that's pretty daggone good interest. And I know that this bank is FDIC approved.
That's important.
I have some of those stock, those little stock apps.
Oh, yes, of course.
Buy and sell stocks. And one of them has a really good percentage rate on your money that's not invested. It's paying like 4%.
Uh-huh.
So,
I've seen that ad. I won't spill the beans because they're not sponsoring the show, but I know who you're talking about. Yes.
And so, but they're not FDIC. Well, they say it's pretty safe because they put your money in banks that are, FDIC.
Yeah, that's a little wonky, and I'm not sure what I think about that, but I understand. So good. So you're moving some money. That's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to one of these banks that are FDIC, I guess.
Well, good for you.
Instead of a wannabe bank.
A wannabe bank. I got it. I understand. Yeah, it's crazy times out there. Crazy times everywhere. And financially, life-wise, politics-wise, sports-wise, it's crazy everywhere. It's just crazy. It's just.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Maybe this is it. Maybe the end of the world. Maybe the end of the world is coming. Yeah, this is the
end times.
I don't know, but like you said, our sports, we're both suicidal.
BJ's got his Warriors hat on this morning. I actually have a Cavaliers hoodie, and I probably should have worn it in mourning. I am wearing my black hoodie in mourning for my Cleveland Cavaliers, who it's almost indescribable. I can't, when you and I are done with the podcast, I'll go and I'll watch the morning sports shows. And I like Colin Cowherd. I like Nick Wright. I like those guys. And I'm sure they'll have a breakdown. I watched that game. I'm talking about Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers last night for you.
And again, we record
fans.
On a Monday, people remember that.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes. Now, and speaking of which, here's the problem. As we record this on a Monday, the next Cavaliers game is Tuesday. So when you hear this, my Cavaliers could be out of the playoffs if they lose in Cleveland. I mean, they have to win 3 straight now. So as of this recording. So yeah, it doesn't really make much sense to recap a game that by the time our friends listen to us, it'll be 3 days old. But it was unbelievably bad how they got beat. Well, it wasn't bad if you were a Pacers fan, but if you're a Cavs fan, it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch the game Sunday night.
Our podcast comes out on Wednesday, so
yes,
the Warriors technically can't be eliminated by Wednesday when it comes out.
Okay,
but maybe by Wednesday night they could become eliminated.
This is the issue. I mean, it's not a problem. We just record the podcast a couple of days in advance to give us time to edit it and post it and all that. So, but yes, you're here listening to 2 old men who could be, by the time you listen to this podcast, who could be completely bummed out about their lives. This one, yours truly especially. So we'll see what happens.
Well, your team was maybe they can get on one of those 10-game win streaks like they were doing so often in the beginning of the year. It seems like no one could beat the
They
Cavaliers.
went on 10 and 12 game win streaks several times during the season. And now I don't know if it's just injuries or they're worn out or whatever, or Indiana's not that good. I mean, they're good, but they're not that good. At one point in the game Sunday night, Indiana's beating Cleveland by like 40 points. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable to me. So anyway.
Well, since they were from Indiana, I was kind of going, ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I go, I can't tell Bill that I'm thinking this is
I thought
cool
you
all
might.
of a sudden.
I did. I thought you might. And just for the record, to all of our listeners, BJ texts me before the game and he's like, who should I root for? And I'm like, because BJ has this thing that whoever he roots for tends to lose. And I said, and I made the mistake. And I said, well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say root for Cleveland. And there you go. You rooted for Cleveland and we got whacked. So anyway.
Good thing I wasn't throwing money at it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wow. How I don't know. I don't know.
And then we'll get out of sports because not everybody cares.
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
and not everybody's be a ball of wax there or whatever the term is.
And not everybody's, especially into the NBA. I don't know why not, but they're not. But the Warriors have proved one thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's Steph Curry. They can't do squat.
No, they can't. No, What are they going to do next year is the question. I don't know, but anyway.
They got to get. Well, who actually looked good, and I liked him when he first went to the team, and I thought, and then of course he got hurt, and then all of a sudden it's like, we don't like you anymore. We're just going to bench you. But I've always liked that Kuminga.
Right, he's
a good tall kid.
Miss.
Yeah,
hit or miss for sure. And I don't know the answer to that, but yeah, I'm not. Hey, how about those Florida Panthers for you hockey fans? They're 2-0. Well, again, there might be another game between now and when this podcast comes out, but they're doing well. So, all right.
And the Florida Everblades, for those of our fans.
You
in
texted
Fort
me
Myers.
that out of the clear blue about the Everblades, and I had completely forgotten. So good for them.
They have now won the South. They're clear winners in the South. There's 4 teams left.
Right.
Which means they have 2
right.
more series, or is that how you say that? They have 2 more series left.
2 more series. Yeah, whatever.
So good luck to Florida Everblades. This could be their 4th Kelly Cup in a row, which is, like the Stanley Cup when it comes to the NHL. They're in the ECHL.
Yeah. All right. So like you said, enough on sports. Maybe our friends are not as interested in that as we are, but whatever. We're just a couple old guys who need something to do at night.
Let's talk about something everyone's interested in. Sex.
Oh, no. Say more.
I got no stories. I'm too damn old. I don't even know what that is anymore.
Doggone it.
I have machinery that won't even cooperate.
Machinery?
Well, I'm talking me, but
Oh, I see. I see. You're on.
I definitely need a transplant. Let's just say that. If that would be available, I would be going for that one this week.
You're on that list as soon
as soon as doctors will put me on the list, I'm on it.
Well, not to spill too many beans, but I've had 2 dates with a local lady here in the Gainesville area, and things are going nicely. We went out to dinner yesterday, which again, as we record this on a Monday, we decided to go for dinner yesterday, and I'm walking up to the restaurant going, "Oh my God, I just remembered it's Mother's Day." And thank God we decided to go early. You're an old person. You go for an early bird dinner. So we got to the restaurant at like 4:30.
And when you walked out, the line was down the street.
You better believe it was. And like every other restaurant in every other town, in every other county in America, on Mother's Day, the busiest restaurant day of the year. Even the young man who was seating us, I'm like, "How's it going?" And he's like, "Busiest day of the year." I'm like, "Okay, good for you. You'll make some money." But anyway, that's not the story. The story is yours truly is, I'm going to say back in the dating world, sort of.
Now, is this someone you met, or are you back on the apps?
Well, it's technically from the apps. Now, I'm not a paying subscriber to any dating app at the moment. But of course, they want to get you back. They want your business back. They want your money. So every couple of days, I will get an email from one of the dating apps that says, "Oh, we found somebody you might be interested in." And you can send a free message to this person. And so if it's somebody that looks interesting or has something that, might be a connection, I will send a little message. And I'm like, I'm worse than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm probably 0 for 100 on those messages. And out of the clear blue, one actually did respond, and she lives on the north side of Gainesville here. So we're close, which is nice. So we've been out to once for lunch, once for dinner, twice now. And so, yeah, so far so good.
Pay attention very carefully here.
Okay.
Remember I told you about so-called chick flicks, and, there are things that women appreciate.
Yes.
As far as sensitivity, even if you don't give a rat's butt about the whole situation, you got to act like oh, this is so sweet. Sometimes you got to play the game.
Bite the bullet.
Player, you got to play the game.
And we know, of course, because that's worked so well for you. Well, you've been married a long time, so I guess it has worked for you. So there you go.
Yeah, it's worked for me along the way at times. There's been times where I've thrown that out the window, and I've kind of been throwing to the curb for a few days too. So, but that's like last night, you were watching the Cavaliers and we were kind of talking about the game, and
yes,
my wife has been under the weather, and so she's like sitting there next to her hubby, and we're watching, television shows that she's interested in. And I got the little iPad there next to me on the couch, and I got the Cavaliers game with my eyes kind of going,
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But
I'm still going, oh, that's so sweet.
Oh man, you're good. You're really good.
You got to learn to play the game.
I guess you're right. I guess so. Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. And there you go.
How many series have we won now? And
how many what?
Series have I won? How many have we won now? I'm going on how many years of marriage? Almost 40. If I have, wow. I'm not there.
Wow. Good for you.
Now, there've been some bumps along the way.
Of course.
And there's been some big potholes, let me tell you.
Most of them you've dug for yourself. Yes, yeah, I know.
Yeah. I'm like, oh. And Bill's going, told you, put the shovel down, but nope, you got to dig a little deeper.
Dig a little deeper. When you find yourself, I've used that line on BJ now for 30 years. When you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. And sometimes you don't listen.
But if I dig just a little deeper, I might get to China.
Might find some gold. Might find a diamond or two. You never know. So yeah, you could. Okay, I hear you. Good job. I give you credit. You have stayed with it. Actually, I give Susan most of the credit. Your wife. She has stuck with you. So yeah, it's like, because most would probably, like you said, have kicked you to the curb like yesterday's trash long ago.
Oh yeah.
Not that you're trash, PJ Odom. You are a wonderful individual and human being, flawed like all of us, but it's okay. I was
gonna say, there's been enough times in this world that I have been trash, and I've been taken out, to this curb. But for some reason, some loving, caring reason, this beautiful woman has went out and said, I can't let the garbage man collect this. I got to bring it back into the house. Whether those were some of her most intelligent moments, I don't know. But thank God she's always brought the garbage in before the garbage man has picked it up.
Before you've been hauled off to the recycling bin.
I guess that's one thing about living with a hoarder.
A hoarder. Oh, Susan. Yes, that she does. You do have a house. Well, let's put it this way. You do have a house full of stuff. You really do.
It's hard for her to get rid of things.
It's hard for her to get rid of things, including you. I think we've stumbled upon something here. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Says,
good for
know,
you. It's
I
kept
never,
a roof
I
over
never,
your head all these years.
She goes, I never know when we're going to use it again.
Right.
So she throws it out and goes, man, I never know when I'm going to use that again.
How many? See, this is the new measure of that. How many Amazon boxes do you have squirreled away somewhere? Because you just never know when you might need a box.
Actually, we're pretty good at that.
At recycling?
Yeah.
I probably still have 3 or 4 Amazon boxes, cut up, not cut up, but I mean, unpacked, unfolded, and stashed in a closet somewhere, just in case, because you never know when you might need a box. So, Yeah. It's all right. I just moved, so I got rid of a ton of boxes. So anyway, that's good.
Oh, man. That's, man, it is coming down here in Central Florida. Woo!
Maybe that's why we had a little internet glitch a few minutes ago. We edited it out of the show, but maybe that's what BJ is experiencing at his house, because it rained hard here in Gainesville. I mean, all night it rained hard. So now you're getting it, no doubt. So there you go.
Oh, I gotta turn this off. I even turned my volume down, but that didn't seem to help any.
On your phone?
Yeah.
You can put it into do not disturb mode. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, that's what I probably should have done. But I just
it's
got to my little watch and pushed and send a voicemail.
Oh, look at you. You got the Apple Watch too. You got the phone, the watch, the pad, and you're still using a Windows computer. Well, someday we'll get you on board with the whole Mac thing.
I would like a Mac thing. Those things just cost twice as much.
They do. Actually, if you get the Mac Mini, which is what I did the last time, just the little itty bitty box, it's like the size of an Apple TV box or a Roku box, and that's what I use, and it works fine. So anyway,
well, that's what I have, but it's a piece.
Windows,
yeah, and I'll tell you why I have the Windows, because I don't want to get anyone arrested. Let's just say someone put a program on one of these boxes that I use quite often in my line of work.
And you're not paying for it. We don't want to say that. It might have come pre-installed on the computer and you're currently using it for no charge.
Yeah, let's just say that.
Let's just say that.
You know what? I'm going to, I don't, in case, that was my lawyer calling now.
That's right. Your phone's right. And I hear a police siren outside my window. So it's all good.
But let's take a break. And I do want to come back because we've talked about her a little bit.
Right.
I want to talk about not only my week from hockey sticks, but my wife's week.
Hockey sticks?
H-E-double-L. Hockey sticks or whatever.
Week from hell. All right.
Yeah.
Stand by. We'll do that in just a minute.
Welcome back, BJ and Bill, the podcast. And of course, we welcome you and thank you for listening. Give us that 5-star review. We much appreciate it. And, I mentioned it last week. My wife, the following day, because it was Tuesday, so tomorrow will be 1 week.
Right.
She got sinus surgery.
You mentioned that it was like a big kind of roto-rooter job there or something that's not my words. You said that. So yeah.
So
yeah.
And I even told you they could, poke a hole in her brain. They said that was, they go, it's very unlikely.
Very unlikely. Well, good. It's
let
good
you
to
know
that it's very unlikely.
But we could, it's like.
We could.
I doubt we do it, but it could happen. Well, thank God it didn't happen. But my wife, this whole week has been the most miserable, and I had nothing to do with it this time. My wife has been the most miserable I have ever seen her in her life.
Wow.
And my wife, I will tell you, how many years ago, maybe 3 now. Yeah, probably 3, maybe 4, 3.5, 4 years, had breast cancer where she had both breasts removed.
Yes.
That was quite the ordeal. And I remember she had drain tubes and everything,
Right.
I was helping her with her drain tubes, but it seems like she kind of kicked back to somewhat, being miserable after a couple days.
Right.
This has been just miserable day after miserable day. But I kind of understand it too. Well, one, she says the pain, it was excruciating in the beginning.
Right.
And I don't know, sometimes they twist and turn you in those operating rooms.
Oh, yeah.
You wonder what they do to you. But for like the first 4 days, she was like so sore she could hardly move. I'm talking
Right.
her whole body.
Wow.
But now, of course, because they stuff all that stuffing up in your head
Well, okay.
and they're not going to pull it out. Or the nurse told me that it would kind of like dissolve,
Ooh.
but not to blow your nose. She's not allowed to blow her nose. And she says she feels so stuffed up and that's all she wants to do.
Is blow your nose.
And I've talked to someone, and I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and she knows someone who had this surgery.
Right.
And thank God my wife was out of the room when she said this. She goes, when they pull that stuffing out, because they're going to do that when she goes back for her checkup on Thursday.
Right.
That is going to hurt like it. That's what my friend told me. It was like the most pain. I go, oh my God, do I even tell her that?
No, you don't tell her that. No. My opinion. I mean, it's your spouse and your partner. You do what you feel is best. I would not share. Oh, it's going to hurt like that. No, I wouldn't tell anybody that.
Because she had to go. Because she's been so restless with this too. She's up and she's down and she's up and she's down. And the
Pain
doctors
is like
want her
that. Yes.
And the doctors want her to keep, like the bed at a 30-degree angle. And I'm trying to be the good husband because ours isn't one of those that go up one side and the other side won't.
Right.
You put up the bed,
right.
The whole thing goes up, or you put it down, the whole thing goes down.
Right.
So I've been sleeping. My neck is all crinked, and I've got a sore neck, but I'm hanging in there, and she's hanging in there.
Don't. If the bed is cranked up that far, don't use a pillow. You don't need it.
Okay, I'll try that maybe.
Yeah, you don't need it. If you feel like you need something, just take a towel and fold it up a little bit so it just makes a little tiny bit of a bump. But yeah, some nights, because I have one of those adjustable beds too, and my eye doctor actually said it's better for my eye if I sleep with my head up a little bit like that. And so, yeah, sometimes I don't use a pillow at all either. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Mine doesn't crank up super high, so it's not. Sounds like yours is more of at an angle than mine. So anyway,
yeah, it's like 30%.
30 degrees.
Yeah,
so 30 degrees. So she's going. Yeah, that's. We will all add our prayers and good healing energy to her, and hopefully it all works out just fine. So is that now? Why did? I don't remember if you ever shared that story or not. Why did she end up needing this particular procedure? Was it just a matter of being constantly stuffed up or what?
Well, she's always stuffed. She's got allergies, and she gets sinus infection after sinus infection after sinus infection. And finally the doctor just said, we really need to go in there and just clean it all out and, need to. So that's kind of what they did, I think. I wasn't in there. I don't know what they did.
Right. Well, no, I mean, but why it was recommended that she have that procedure. That's what I was curious about, not the how, but the why. Why do you need it? I get that because I'm like, if I try and sniff now, I got one side open, not the other, but I know for a fact, well, I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV, but I know 90% sure that that's an overweight thing, that because of my 20 years of being overweight, that it's a matter of that's why I'm stuffy all the time. It's not really stuffy. It's just that I have a pudgy face and some of it's on the outside, some of it's on the inside. So I'm hoping that if I lose enough weight that it will clear, and I'm confident that it will, but I'm not a doctor.
Now, because I did post on Facebook and I've talked about it with you. So I've had people and I've told friends,
Right.
And so friends that I've known either on Facebook or whatever, either people have commented they know someone who has had it or they have had it. And they have all said the same thing. Oh my God, that is a miserable freaking surgery. And of course, I've had some tell me that once it's over, she'll be so glad she did it because she'll be,
Right.
sinus infections will go away, her nose
Right.
will feel clear. It'll be wonderful. Then I had one person tell me, I've had it done twice, and now the doctor wants to do it a third time, and I've
Oh
said
my
no.
gosh.
So I don't know, but I've only had one person tell me that. But
Wow. Yeah.
because I'll tell you what, if a doctor would ever come to me now and say you need sinus surgery, I would go, yeah, stick it up your rear end there, doc, because I
I've seen
saw
what it looks
somebody
like.
else who got that surgery. Now, I mean, because I've talked about this hernia that I'm supposed to go like like on the 20th finally to a surgeon.
Right.
And I'm thinking maybe I'll just tell him, can I just live with this hernia? Because I don't know if I want to go under the knife after watching her.
I I mean, you probably could, but I mean, I don't know what again, I'm not a doctor and we're not here to give medical advice. We are not giving medical advice on this show. There, now the lawyers will be happy. But we can talk about our experiences because we have a lot of them, especially BJ Odom. So yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, I think that might be one of my questions to the doctor. If I don't do this, what happens? I mean, it was pretty obvious with my eyeball. If I don't do anything, you'll be blind in one eye. Yeah, that's not really what I want. So, okay.
Problem is, and I don't want to be gross to our listeners, but I can push in where it's coming out,
Ugh.
and you can actually hear it go. You can hear it. I mean, not only do you feel it go back in, you hear it. It goes.
Ugh.
And also you
That's
hear
yucky.
it when it comes back out. Like even my wife goes, "Boy, what's your stomach? What?" I go, "That's just my hernia slowly coming back out again."
All right, that's
So
gross.
it's definitely a mess.
It's it's a mess and it's gross and I don't well, again, I'm not a doctor and this is not medical advice. So yeah, you probably would want to ask him about side effects, and at least they're not going to be poking out your brain, although most of your brains are in your guts, in your stomach, BJ Odom. So
Well, no, it's the end of my stomach. It's the end of the intestines where most of my brain.
I didn't want to go there, but at least you did where his brains are at. So yeah, your brain could get poked too. That might be a little dangerous. You got about 5 minutes of comedy right there. If you wanted to turn that into a stand-up, that's it right there.
You know what? I don't know. There's parts I like, because I still got friends that are in stand up, and I
Right.
still got them on Facebook, and I'll see they're doing a show here, and they're on the road doing this, and I go, I get that little, I don't know what I would call it. I guess
Urge,
that little. I go,
twinge.
oh, why me? Why can't I be out there? Why are they? And but I don't know. I just think it would be too rough of a road, especially doing road work. I'd be out there. I'd get one of my low blood pressure moments. I can
Right.
just imagine if I was on stage and I like passed out or something.
Keel over.
Now, I will admit this, and I had people, after the show asking me if it was all planned and all rigged, like, they thought I was a professional wrestler or something. But I was working at the Naples Comedy Club, and they had two big tiki, like ceramic,
Like totem pole kind of thing.
yeah, like a tiki pole. Like it went up
Okay.
probably,
Yeah.
they were probably, like chest high to me.
Sure.
Ceramic. I mean, they were big. They were heavy. And, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our, blah, blah, blah. He's been da 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 da. Ladies and gentlemen, BJ Odom. And, I go up there, woo, woo, and I jump on stage. And as I'm jumping on stage, because, you have to go up a stair,
Sure.
I trip. And I go down. I hit one of the tikis.
Ooh.
It goes down. It like flies into a million freaking pieces. No one got hurt except
Right.
for the dummy that jumped on stage.
The club owner saw his life flash before his legal eyes for a minute there. Yes.
And, of course, the other comic, because the owner of the club wasn't there, but his wife was, and she goes, "Go up and help him. He's falling. He can't get up." And so another one of the comics ran up and helped me up, and I go, and the adage, the show must go on.
Must go on.
So I'm doing my show, and I can feel my knee is like it's in pain. It's like this hurts, but I'm powering through it.
Show must go on.
And all of a sudden, somebody in the front row goes, "Ahem, ahem. Do you know your knee is bleeding quite profusely? It's coming through your pants." And I see and I go, "Oh, damn."
Wow.
I was bleeding. But I still,
the show
must go on.
The show must go.
And that was one of those nights where I needed to do 45 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
And so I'm like, finally, the end of my time has finally come. I mean, I put it this way: supposed to do 45 to an hour, 45 hit. This boy said, "Okay, this is
I'm
it.
done. I'm done."
And then I go to the restroom and look. Oh my God, look at that knee! It is disgusting. But people, because you always shake people's hands and you take pictures sometimes because people think for some god awful reason you're famous because you're at a comedy club, so they want to take their pictures with you, and I do all that stuff. And I'll bet you 20 people that night said that was pretty funny. That was all planned, right? But like I was doing a work, in professional wrestling, like yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I go, no, that was
the real thing.
Real.
Does the blood on this knee look fake to you? Yeah. No, that's the real blood. That's the real thing. Wow. Is that going to be in the book? I have never heard that story before. I just thought
there
aren't many
times
when you
can.
Guess. Right. There aren't many stories that I have not heard before from BJ Odom. That's one of them. Amazing. So
yeah, Brian Corian, you remember him, right?
Who's that?
Brian Corian.
Name is familiar, yes.
Yeah, because he was in the show a few times with some of his comics. He had the Laugh In Comedy Cafe.
Sure.
He had some other clubs after Joe Galana had the Laugh In. He owned it. And that was one of his first clubs. Started down in Naples.
Wow.
And I never will forget that night. And I told Brian, I said, I'll pay you for it. I'll pay you for it. I'll buy it. It's all my fault. I'm sorry. He said, no. He goes, I'm not going to take your money.
Wow. Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, good guy.
All right. BJ Odom on the road to recovery. Susan Odom on the road to recovery. Bill Stevens on the road to recovery. It's pretty much
my knee,
General Hospital around here. What's that?
Yeah, my knee's fine now. That was years ago.
Yeah, but it's another episode of General Hospital around here. Let's take a break. Go, bandage whatever needs bandaging and refill your coffee, and we will be right back. Welcome back. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast. I'm Bill Stevens. That's BJ Odom. Wherever you get this particular podcast, well, and all the BJ and Bill podcasts, it doesn't matter where. Just make sure you leave that 5-star review. We appreciate it. Stop by the Facebook page, do a search for BJ and Bill, the podcast, and you'll find our page. You can leave your memories, your jokes, your pictures, your cat pictures. It doesn't matter. We love them all. And but the review and 5-star that's the big deal for us. So please do that wherever you get your podcasts. We're back.
All right. Now, I just want to let people know if they're interested. It's not the greatest because not like Bill Stevens, who is a computer wizard. I made a little website for the Gift of Life podcast. In fact, that's the address. The Gift of Life. Not the just Gift of Life podcast.
Just okay.
No, the other.
No, the
Gift of Life podcast.
giftoflifepodcast.com.
Yeah. And I made a little website, nothing fancy.
Cool.
But you can now go there every week and listen to the podcast.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So
I own the one for the one that Vicky Wagner and I do. I own the practicalpathpodcast.com, but I haven't done anything with it. So now maybe you're just going to inspire me to get to work on that this week.
yeah, I need to do that.
I
Because
know.
yours can be beautiful because you know what you're doing.
Well, a
I
little
just
bit.
want, I just want, because when you get it from GoDaddy, they give you this free little, how you, and it's like,
Website builder.
website building 101.
Yes.
And even the 101, I didn't get some of the ones, or I don't know.
You're in the
I was-
you're in the remedial class.
yeah,
I
I
get it.
need that. Yeah, because but it's together and it's actually up on the internet. In fact, if you go to it now, it will be there.
Wow. On those interwebs. That's great.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'd like to make it fancier. I'd like to have it cooler, but as of right now, it's a basic website. But hopefully it'll, draw some people, and some people will find it and listen to the podcast.
There you go. And of course that will be a major hub for selling the book once the book comes along. I just wanted to give that plug there for BJ Odom the book.
Yeah, we're working on that.
I
And
know.
it's coming together.
Have you come up with a name yet? A title?
I think those are one of those things that you have to really get the whole book together
Okay.
and kind of see how it's coming together,
Okay. I believe that.
and then figure out, the theme of the book. Because, that's usually and even my, ghostwriter said that's kind of like the last thing you do is, put together what the name of the book,
Right.
I mean, I could think of long names, I could think of short names, but I guess, maybe I'll have my little AI friend help me. That could be
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Well, most books nowadays have a short title followed by a subtitle, like BJ Odom, the story of a young boy who should have been dead 17 times, but is still with us, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah. and I guess it's important too. And I'll have Christina help me write that too. But the back of the book, and then I'm just learning that is also very, very important.
the book jacket, the fancy high-tech word for that is the blurb.
The
On the
blurb?
back of the book. Yeah. Yeah, you're right though. The description, because that's going to be, that's probably also what you'll use on Amazon, and that'll be what gets people's attention. We hope it does anyway.
I don't want to spend too much money, but I guess it's like the stock market too. You can like if you have a website, you can spend extra money with Google, and that helps you up the Google,
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
You can do that with about anything. You can also, if you are doing your book and it's on Amazon,
Right.
you can get a representative, and they help, write ads and stuff.
Oh,
and
sure.
That helps push your book, kind of like to push a website or to push a Facebook
I
page.
get that. You could, honestly, I think the best thing, well, I'm not a marketing expert. I know a little bit about it. I would say, I know that our friends at the Podcast Playground cut up some clips of the BJ and Bill podcast because I see them on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. So I think maybe you could spend, as you and I talk about the book when it comes out, we could cut those clips up and start putting them out on places, and, with a real live, like, hey, this is a real, not just to be funny, but just to say, hey, if you want to read the story, there's, come to Amazon and buy the book kind of a thing.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll figure that out. And another thing I'm going to do, but nowadays, as we have talked on this podcast, radio has changed so much.
Yeah.
It used to be, every little small town,
Yeah.
had its own radio station, and, they had their morning show, and they, the morning shows would always look, we didn't do it a lot, but we had a few authors on,
Oh, yeah.
during our tenure.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Randy Wayne White.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He's still writing books too.
God bless him. But
But-
so I hear where you're going with this, and you were thinking you could do a radio tour.
Yeah.
You're right. That might be hard to do. But if you could find some local shows, like there's one, well, I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of radio in Gainesville, but the one station I do listen to is actually live. And they actually have, the station is based in Ocala, but they have a repeater up here. So it's like Gainesville, Ocala, it's always Gainesville, Ocala. So, but they have a live morning show. As far as I know, they do. I've heard it. It sounds, you could always say it sounds live. It's like, but yeah, that would be good. Now, my question to you is, how many other podcasts are there out there that are, not necessarily gift of life podcast, but medical stories or, things like that. People that I think is because obviously you have experience with podcasting and broadcasting, and you can talk and, put a good sentence together. And so you could do a podcast tour without having to go anywhere, without, whatever. And then
well, you can actually anymore do a radio tour that way also.
Of course. Yeah. That was silly of me to say, but both. I mean, if it's me, I'm looking more for the because they could have potentially a much bigger audience. Start doing some research on other podcasts of people in the medical success story area. I don't know what you would call it, but there must be a million of them. There's a million podcasts for everything.
Well, my son has the podcast too, Backstage with Gentry Thomas.
Yes.
And he has some, big time celebrities on that.
Yes.
And you're saying, does Gentry Thomas know all these celebrities? How does he get all these celebrities to come on his podcast? He has a guy.
Of course.
And of course, the guy, sends him a list every week. And here's some of the people that are available. And he says there are actually authors on that list that have written books. But, he's going for, the celebrity angles.
If you're an author, that's gold. That is literally gold nuggets waiting for you to pick up, because there are podcasts that are looking for guests, and you are a guest looking for podcasts. There are actually agencies out there that will, like a matchmaker, like a dating site, that will put people together like that. They're not really, I don't think it's worth it. I think you could do some research on your own. It's not like you have a lot to do during the day. You could do your own research, find some podcasts, reach out to them. I'll bet you could be on a dozen podcasts.
What if I could be on Joe Rogan? Hey, Joe, what's going on?
Start small,
I'd like to
young
talk
Jedi.
about my new book.
Start small, young Jedi. Work your way up. But you don't have to be on Joe Rogan to reach hundreds of thousands of people. Those. Oh, I'm just saying. I just see the fire truck now. We were talking fire engine before. I just see him driving by. So anyway, yes, start looking for podcasts in that space. Start reaching. You don't have to do it now, but as the book becomes close, you want to do that as close to the book launch as possible.
Yeah.
And make a splash. Absolutely.
Now, you know what else would be cool? I wonder, I don't know, I wouldn't know how to go out and find one.
What's that?
Because unfortunately, in my radio career, there are radio agents, and I wish like hell we would have found one back in our day.
Right.
Because we didn't have an agent.
Right.
I think that could have helped us a lot, but we didn't have an agent.
Yeah.
But I need to find a publicist.
Oh, sure. Those people are everywhere. Well, I'm not going to say they're everywhere, but yes, they are available. If they are worth the money, I don't know, but it's worth looking into. You know what I thought? You had, of course, you had the transplant at Tampa General. You should be talking to every TV station in Tampa, if nothing else, because yes, they, I'm sure, cover TGH stories on the local news, but you're going to be kind of a famous story because you had the transplant 25 years ago, and now the book is coming out about it. And gosh, here's the author and the guy who's been through it, BJ Odom, live on TV with us.
You know what I should do is call my old girlfriend.
Your old girlfriend?
Kelly Burns.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last time I was at Gentry's house.
Yes.
I watched a little TV.
Is she still on?
She is still on, and so is Lois Tomei.
Oh my gosh.
Now Lois has been in the market, I think, ever since I first came to Florida and went.
Yes.
My first
Yes.
job, I think my first job at Wink, she was doing Wink television, and she's doing Wink television now.
Oh my God. She's got to be our age. She has to be our age.
I don't know. She still looks pretty good.
Well, she's on TV. That's their job. Their job is to look good.
Kelly, look, why we never got married? I just don't understand.
He was in love with. For those who aren't in Fort Myers, Florida, these two names that BJ has just mentioned were ladies who did the TV news when BJ and Bill were on the radio, literally 25 years ago, and apparently still are. And BJ Odom has yet to get over his crush on both of them. So
now, what's funny though, and let's just get into this whole story.
Oh, please,
because Kelly Burns, she was on our show once in a while. She would, come in while we were on the air, and
sure,
and that's what news people do. And I don't know, I took a shine into her. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And so I would always tease about my girlfriend, Kelly. I mean, it was like a standing joke.
Yes.
My girlfriend, Kelly Burns. And
yes.
I was married, dang on it, but I still, and
that didn't stop him.
And she called me one day and she goes, I was such and such, and I don't know where she was, but she goes, I had this lady came up to me and she goes, how are you and your boyfriend BJ Odom getting? She goes, I listen to him all the time.
Of course.
And she told me this woman was bound and determined, and she thought Kelly was married. I mean, she wasn't married, I think, when I started that.
Right.
But, she eventually got married.
You were both
too,
married to different people. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that joke went on for many, many years. And I don't know how many times that happened.
This is exactly how modern politics work. I don't know if you're like, oh, I don't know, the president of the United States, and you say something enough times, no matter how crazy and ridiculous it might be on its face, if you say it enough times, most people will go, oh yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure, of course. The moon's made of cheese? Of course the moon's made of cheese. Everybody says the moon's made of cheese. Of course.
I just have to say this. Kelly Burns, I am so sorry, but yet I am so thankful that you had I don't know if it was a kind heart or whatever, but she could have picked up at any time. She could have picked up, BJ, I think it's funny, but the jokes went on too long.
Right.
You need to stop it now.
Yes.
It's not funny any longer, but she went along with it all those years. And like I said, she would come in because, I don't know, we'd be doing a telethon or I don't know, news people just sometimes come in radio stations. That's just how it always worked.
Of course.
And it was like a standing gag, and it went on for a long, long time. And she was great. I don't know if you'd call that gracious enough, but she played along. Let's just say that.
That's
and
right.
I know there was times she would probably say, do we need to play this game any longer? I am over it.
I'm wondering if she thought it might be helpful to her ratings. Because if somebody's talking about you, again, here we go. I mean, if somebody's talking about, a certain person or whatever on the radio, and we're reaching an audience that maybe they don't watch Kelly Burns on the news. Maybe they watch somebody else, and they're like, wow, maybe I should turn that on and see what this is all about. So maybe she thought to herself, well, hey. And we always used to say that in radio anyway, right? It doesn't matter if it's good news or bad news. Just, get the call letters right.
Yeah.
So
as long as they're talking about you.
I love that.
I will publicly go on record. Kelly Burns has never been my girlfriend. Maybe I wanted it, but she has never been my girlfriend.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, everybody has their own little fantasies, of course, but yeah, I get it.
And I'm sending her a nice apology here on the BJ and Bill, the podcast. I just want to say, I apologize, Kelly Burns.
Somebody's going to tell her. Somebody in Fort Myers is going to hear this podcast and tell her, and she's going to go, "Oh no, not again."
I'm actually
it was
going to.
over 20 years. He's back. He's like
Yeah.
Jason in those movies. He just keeps coming back.
In fact, we are still Facebook friends. I think I am going to tag her on this episode.
You absolutely must do that. Yes. Yes. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. So yeah, but see, there you go. It's publicity, and good, bad, or otherwise. You know, if you're a TV person, everything helps.
I did feel bad though that time. She said the little old lady came up and asked her how her and her boyfriend BJ Odom was doing. I should have at the time said, "I'm so sorry that happened."
Yeah. That's hilarious. Well, you know, again, whatever you keep repeating, people will believe. It's just the way the world works.
Now that I think about it,
yes,
she didn't say she apologized to the lady. She didn't even say if she corrected the lady. She just told me the lady came and talked to her about it.
Jim Carrey Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, wasn't it? He was in Dumb and Dumber, where he asks the girl out on a date, and she goes, "I wouldn't date you in a million years." And he says, "So you're saying there's a chance?" That's BJ. Hasn't heard from her in 25 years. You're saying there's a chance. All right. Yeah, man. Moving along.
Oh, my stomach hurts now. I haven't laughed that much in a long time.
Laughter, as we say on the Practical Path podcast, laughter is the best medicine, and we try and laugh every week. And you and I do a good job of it too. So there you go. So awesome.
And like I said too, I think that kind of helped me through all of my medical problems.
I have no doubt that it did. I mean, I'm not you, but laughter is the best medicine. Period. End of statement. Full stop, as the kids say. So yeah, it's good. I love it. Awesome.
Now I'm out of things to say. Now
it's close enough. We could bring the show to a close. That's fine. That's fine.
Kelly Burns wore me out. That's all I'm saying.
Now you're going to make me go to the website and to both of the Wink TV and she's with the NBC affiliate still, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember who that WBBH. I'm going to have to go to both of those websites and look up the publicity pictures for both Kelly Burns and what's her name? Yeah. And just to see it, just to see what they look like after 25 years.
To be perfectly honest,
Lois Tomei, I apologize. I forgot your name.
Lois Tomei, I never said I had a crush on her.
I understand.
But, I've known her for years.
Oh, sure.
There's another quick story.
Uh-oh.
I worked at Wink early in my Florida career.
Yes.
One of the very first radio stations I worked at was Wink FM.
Yes.
And then, after the BJ and Bill show, I went back into that building and worked again. And this was probably 20 years later, maybe more. I went back.
Yeah, you and I were together for a very, very brief time at a station there in that building. Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's when it was. Mm-hmm. So I'm leaving the building one day, and who walks by me but Lois Tomei?
There you go.
And she goes, BJ, because she isn't one of the reporters that would come into our show.
Right.
She never did that. She was like the big anchor at Wink TV.
She was.
She was like, the one on the pedestal, the
number one,
the biggest wig of all.
Yep.
And when she walked by me and said, "How you doing today, BJ?" and just smiled. And all I remember is going, God, she knows who I am.
She remembered. It's always nice. It's a good little ego boost when somebody sort of famous or sort of important remembers who you're. I mean, nobody's more important than anybody else, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
because I've never really hung out with her, never really, did anything with her.
No.
But, for her to, know me because, okay, television people, yes. If you're in that city, chances are you know them by sight.
Of course.
Because you see them on television.
Of course.
Radio people, you don't see. That's why we always say, Bill and I, we have a face for radio.
Yes.
But, I never really had any encounters with her, but I walk by, she says, "Hi, BJ, how you doing today?" To me, that just like, whoa, she knew who I was. Wait a minute, that must mean she was asking about me, or how would she know who I was? Maybe I was going after the wrong anchor from the wrong TV station.
Don't get us started. Do not go down that road. Do not get us started on that path.
What did Bill say earlier in the podcast? When you dig a hole, you got to know when to quit digging.
Stop digging. Stop. Yeah, that's crazy. The only time, unrelated, but you were talking about knowing somebody's by face. When I was in Phoenix, before BJ and Bill, when I was in Phoenix, Arizona, our morning show, and it was a big morning show. We had disc jockey, news guy, separate news, two news people, really. One kind of did feature stuff, and I did regular news, plus morning guy, plus sports guy, plus weather person, plus we had a Phoenix cop come in and do traffic. We were all on the side of a bus for one summer, a big poster of the morning show, and so I would see my own face occasionally out on the street on the side of a bus. That was kind of fun, but it was just the one time, so there you go. Nobody ever said, "Boy, I'm, Bill Stevens' boyfriend," or whatever. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe they did. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, maybe they're just keeping it a secret.
I could have been. Secret crush. Yeah, I kind of doubt it. But yeah, that's okay. All right. Jeez, oh, wait. Now I am going to have to look that up. I really am, to see if there's still, what they're doing nowadays with the TV news in Fort Myers. Nothing changed in 25 years. That blows my mind. But, oh, well. Oh, well.
Now, Craig
right,
is
BJ
gone. What was it? No, Craig Wolf. He's no longer there.
Craig Wolf is doing like most people with half a brain got into real estate in Southwest Florida when it was popular, because for some reason I was on his mailing list. I don't know why, but I used to get emails from Craig Wolf, every month about the latest big fancy real estate development in Southwest Florida. So yeah. There's that.
But last time I was at my son's, I think it was Sunday morning, I actually saw Craig Wolf not doing the news. He was doing like a financial, maybe it was a real estate program, and doing like an interview. And, he was the host of this.
Sure.
This weekend, kind of probably.
Oh, cool.
It was either a financial show or a real estate show or something.
Yeah,
and
he probably got involved in all of that stuff. And so he probably bought the time, like you can do on any of those local small TV stations. You can buy yourself a half hour and put your own show on here. That's fine. That's good. Congrats to all those old broadcasting people who managed to keep it going for all these years, including BJ and Bill.
Don't you call them old.
Because we're old.
They're still beautiful to me. Especially Kelly.
Okay. Oh, don't. Please, I'm begging you. Do not.
My girlfriend. My girlfriend.
Please,
my
no.
girlfriend, Kelly, is beautiful.
All right, folks. We really do have to go now.
I just hope her husband doesn't come to Orlando and shoot me. That's all I'm going to say.
Be careful what you ask for. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and squirrels, we appreciate you being with us this morning. It's going to be a crazy week out there. Take care. Stay dry. Don't believe everything you hear. That's my advice. All right, everybody, have a great week. We love you. We appreciate you. Remember that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. And until then, it's just up to BJ Odom to say,
see ya.
Take a ride back in time when the airways were golden and the DJ shined. 2 mics, 2 guys, and a whole lot of laughs. Living like legends, bringing stories back. No script, no rules, just telling it all.